Hello and welcome to Byju's Exam Prep IAS. I welcome you all to today's session of the daily quiz. Let's begin with question number 1 on your screen. Consider the following statements with regards to Reserve Bank of India's monetary policy. Number 1. In May 2015, the RBI Act was amended to provide a legislative mandate to the central bank to operate the country's monetary policy framework. Second, the decision of the Monetary Policy Committee shall be binding on the bank. Third, Section 45ZB of the Act says that MPC shall consist of 5 members. You have to tell how many of these statements are wrong. Now, this is a slightly tricky question because it has a lot of facts. First statement is wrong. It was actually in May 2016 and not 2015 that the Act was amended. Second statement is true. Whatever decision is taken by the Monetary Policy Committee, it is binding on the Reserve Bank of India. Third is false. It actually has 6 members. It is headed by the RBI governor. In case the 6 members have a divided majority of 3-3, then the RBI governor gets to have the casting vote. Thus, the correct answer here would be B. 2 statements are wrong. That is, first and third. The second statement is true. The reason why we're discussing this question is because the RBI has surprised everyone by keeping the repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. Everyone was expected that maybe the RBI would again increase the repo rate as they have been increasing time and time again because of increasing inflation in the country. But thankfully, it has not increased, means the rise of interest rates in the bank loans would not go up once again. Next, question number 2. Consider the following statements with regards to the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, also known as the FCRA. Number 1. The Act prohibits the receipt of foreign funds by candidates for elections, journalists or newspaper and media broadcast companies, judges and government servants, members of legislature and political parties, or their office bearers and organizations of a political nature. Second, once the registration of an NGO is cancelled, it is not eligible for re-registration for 5 years. Third, the applicant should also not have been prosecuted for or convicted of creating communal tension or disharmony. You have to tell which of these is correct about FCRA. Now, FCRA is a law that has been in the news quite a lot. Under this law, the Government of India gives permissions to those NGOs who want to get donation from outside India. First statement is true. These category of people are not eligible to get these foreign donations. Second is wrong. Once your license is cancelled, you cannot apply again for 3 years and not 5 years. Third statement also is true. If you are applying for the license under FCRA, the person should not have been prosecuted or convicted under the crime of committing communal tension or disharmony. That is why the correct answer here is A. 1 and 3 are correct. The second statement is wrong. The reason why we're discussing this question is that the Home Ministry has said that they would want a CBI investigation into Oxfam India. They are saying that Oxfam India may have violated the FCRA Act of 2010. The Home Ministry has said that Oxfam India continues to transfer foreign contribution to various entities even without registering under the FCRA, and thus such a transfer is not allowed. The Oxfam India organization has been on the radar of the government for a long time now. Oxfam's FCRA license expired in December 2021, and when they went for renewal, it was rejected by the Home Affairs Ministry. Oxfam is a global non-for-profit organization that has its arm in India as well. Next, question number 3. Which of the following places is or are included in the Tourism Ministry's Sapt Moksh Puri initiative? So, Sapt Moksh Puri initiative is recently launched by the Tourism Ministry, in which they have given names of 7 places which they would like to promote for international tourism. You have to tell which of these 7 is a part of the announcement made by the Tourism Ministry. Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchi Avantika, Puri and Kedarnath. Now, it's a tricky question because when you have so many options, you'll have to think very, very deeply. The correct answer here is B. All except Kedarnath. Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchi Avantika and Puri are a part of this announcement and not Kedarnath. If you look at the PIB carried this news story today, under which Ministry of Tourism has attached 7 tourist destinations in its Sapt Moksh Puri, that is 7 Liberation Destination program. These include Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchiavantika, Puri, and the last one is Dwaravati, that is Dwarka in Gujarat and not Kedarnath. The government of India is hoping to get more promotions for these places from both global and Indian market so that the people turning in to these cities year after year also increase. This is a part of the Swadesh Darshan scheme in which the government of India is aiming to develop better tourism infrastructure and get funds available for all these tourist places. Next question number 4. Which of the following is not a criteria to be recognized as a national party in India? Number 1. It is recognized in 4 or more states. Second, if its candidates have secured at least 6% of the total valid votes in at least 4 states in Lok Sabha or Assembly elections, and the party has at least 4 MPs in the last Lok Sabha polls. Third, if it has won at least 2% of the total seats in Lok Sabha from at least 3 states. And fourth, if it secures 8% of total valid votes polled in the country at a general election to the Lok Sabha. You have to tell which is not a criteria to become a national party. Now, this can be slightly confusing because there are national parties and there are state party criteria. First, second, and third are criteria to become a national party. Fourth one is actually a criteria to become a state party. That is, if you get 8% votes in the general elections to the legislative assembly of that state. If across the state you get 8% votes, that is when you become a state party in that state. First, second, and third are correct. The fourth one is a criteria to become a state party. That is why the correct answer here in this case would be D. The reason why we're discussing this question is because the Aam Aadmi Party is saying that Election Commission is not giving it the status of national party, although they already have fulfilled the required criteria. Aam Aadmi Party has received 6% votes in 4 assembly polls and thus should be recognized as a national party after their performance in Gujarat State Assembly elections. The Election Commission is saying that they will take a call on the party status before 13th of April. So the Aam Aadmi Party wants that before the Karnataka elections take place, they should be given the status, and they say Election Commission is delaying giving them the status because of some ulterior motives. Next, we have a previous year question from 2019. With reference to land reforms in independent India, which one of the following statements is correct? Number 1. The ceiling laws were aimed at family holdings and not individual holdings. This is wrong. There were limits to how much land you can hold individually and then at family level also in certain states. Major aim of land reforms was providing agricultural land to the landless. Yes, this was the idea, because when the British left, some people held a lot of land while others did not have any land. So government wanted to redistribute that. Third, it resulted in cultivation of cash crops. No, cash crops still do not form a major part of our cultivation. And fourth, land reforms permitted no exemption. No, there were some exemptions that were provided in the land reforms. Let me tell you what those exemptions were. So, for example, tea, coffee, rubber plantations, orchards, farms, these are the ones that were exempted from the limit. That is why the fourth statement also here is wrong. The correct answer here would be B. As I said, cash crops even today do not form a major part of India's cultivation. All the other statements are wrong. The correct answer here would be B. Next, we have a fact of the day, and today we want to discuss about something called ASBA, that is Application Supported by Block Account. Now, this is in the news because SEBI has recently approved ASBA facility for trading in the secondary market. Now, secondary market basically means when you are buying stock from someone else and it is not given to you directly by the company. That is what a secondary market is. Now, what exactly is ASBA? Now, the application is very simple. Let's say you want to buy some shares, and when you actually place an order, your bank would actually be allowed to block those much funds from your bank account. So that, for example, if your bank has 1 lakh rupees, you place an order that I want to buy 50,000 worth of stocks, then your bank account should block 50,000 amount and only remaining 50,000 should be left in your bank account to spend. The other 50,000 should be kept blocked. Only if the transaction does not go through, then after a few days, a 50,000 rupees will be reflected back in your account. This is the simplest application of ASBA. For example, if you apply for IPO, when you apply for IPO, you have to bid because you're not sure if you will get the shares or not. So when you apply for IPO to any company stocks, usually the funds will get blocked in your bank account. And later on, once the company makes the final decision, whether you are going to get the shares or not, depending on that, the funds will either be released or the funds will be debited from your account. That is the application of ASBA. Till now, it was available in the primary market. Primary market means when the stocks are first sold by the company to the consumers, that is the IPO. Now it will be available in the secondary market as well. It means that now brokers will no longer have to collect margin from the clients. So, for example, today what happens if you are placing an order, let's say to buy 100 rupees worth of stock, you might have to pay slightly higher money than that. That is called margin, because when the transaction actually gets placed, maybe the stock prices would have increased slightly. So to make sure that the money given by you to the broker is enough, there is some more money that is collected, that is called a margin. Now that would not be required because the exact money will be blocked at that very point of time. Also, a block will be placed in the bank account. It will not matter which bank account is it, because the ASBA would be able to work in most of these bank accounts. This is an authorization to block the money in the bank account, as simple as that. It will be very similar to how the IPO works. If you have anyways applied to any IPO, you would know in real life how does it actually work. Secondary market, as I said, means when you are not buying stocks directly from the company, you're buying shares from the person who already holds it. That is what happens in the usual stock market. This is it for today's daily quiz video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel and attend all these classes every single day. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a good day.